Welcome back to the Revamp Podcast. Super excited today. Janel Loughin, which by the way, I definitely would have bet money that your name was pronounced Loughin or something like that. And I heard somebody at the event a couple weeks ago say Loughin, and I'm like, who is that? And they pointed to you, and I'm like, oh, that's how you say her last name. That's interesting.
Everybody does it. If you're from Pottstown, though, then you know it's Loughin.
Janel Loughin, been friends on social media for a long time. You classify yourself as an entrepreneur, and you do a lot of different things that are also tied into real estate and building sales teams.
Crush the intro.
Crush the intro. If you're new here, hit like, subscribe. That's the part that I always forget.
Where should I be?
Make sure to subscribe so I can bring you more awesome guests like Janel. Thanks for coming today.
Thanks for having me.
Excited to have you.
So what do you want to know?
So what I want to know is, it is funny, right? Like I like to start from the perspective of social media and how we kind of got connected in the first place, right? Like, so I've known you for a long time through Facebook, yeah. Right? You know, like everybody's connected on Facebook, and I know that you're a badass.
Ooh, why do you say that?
I say that. It's a good question. Like, I think I say that because it's what I see portrayed of you through your social media content, you know, and I see your name everywhere, and I know that you've spoken at a bunch of events of friends of mine and stuff like that. And obviously we were then later connected through Harrison, right? And anybody that is a killer that, I don't know, recommends somebody else to me, it's like, that's...
Then there's validation.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So now I'd love to start there, like with your, I guess, intro into the world of real estate.
Into the world of real estate.
Yeah, because you do a lot of things.
I do now, right? But it starts, it builds, starts here, and then this happens, and that happens, and we're doing this. We might as well do this since we're already doing this.
Yep.
But I went to school to be a teacher, went to Shippensburg University, and then quickly realized I didn't want to be a teacher after I graduated. I had a restaurant in Ocean City, New Jersey. And then I bought my first property ever in Ocean City, New Jersey. And I was like, dude, did that realtor just make $17,000? And I was like, I want to do what that guy does.
Wait, so hold on. You had a restaurant?
I grew up in the restaurant business. So,
grew up in it. Okay,
yes,
got it.
My parents had a restaurant in Phoenixville my whole life. Then my mom opened up a restaurant. I helped her in Boyertown, where we were restaurant people. So restaurant was very easy. I'm like, dude, that's hard work.
I was going to say, that everybody I know in the restaurant industry says how hard it is.
I didn't know any different. And now I also am, shout out to my parents. I always say, like, I was raised hard. So I was raised to work. So when everybody's like, how are you doing all this shit? I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, I just fucking work. That's what I do.
I love it.
And they didn't care about, like, how I felt. Like, we'd go do what needed to be done. So that's, like, still how I operate.
Yep.
But then I bought my first house and ended up getting back together with my high school boyfriend, who then became my husband. Did a brief stint in California for a couple years, had my oldest daughter there, moved back home to Pottstown, Pennsylvania, where comparatively speaking to Northern California, I'm like, we could live like kings.
Yeah, for sure. When you're comparing anything to California, right?
So then I moved home, and the plan was to be a stay-at-home mom, which I did for a year. But I was like, dude, I got to do something. I love being a mom, but I'm like, my brain is like literally turning to mush. So I'm like, I will do the very easy, flexible thing. I will get my real estate license, right? Okay. I can control my time. This is what everybody says. So I get the license. I start selling houses.
What year is this?
This is 2014.
2014, okay.
Yeah, so I'm 11 years in. You said 10. 2014, and back then, if somebody called me and was like, I would like to buy a house, I'm like, cool. Let's go look at all the options this weekend, and then we'll pick the one that you like, and then we'll buy that house.
Yep.
So all I had to do was figure out how to get the leads. So in my first 6 months, I'm selling, I don't know, I think like 12, 15 houses.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, right, home with my baby all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Then I'm pregnant again. And I'm like, dude, did I just make like $55,000 in 6 months? And it's not even working, right?
Yeah, it's not work. It's part-time, yeah.
I'm going and hanging out with my friends and selling them houses.
Yep.
It almost felt like illegal.
Yep.
So I'm like, I like this. So then all of a sudden it's like snowballing, and the next year I have a newborn and a 2-year-old. And then I'm selling 35 houses that year. I'm literally running around like a crazy freak. 2015 to 2017, same story over and over. I'm in like the rat race running around, and I'm super blessed, right? I'm so busy. Can't even handle any of this. At the same time, my marriage is imploding. My husband's super pissed I'm working, which I understand. I agree to be a stay-at-home mom, but I can't do it. I can't do it. I like doing both the things.
Right.
So I always say at the point that I got divorced, it was like, this is number one, it's not a joke anymore, where it's just like my fun thing I'm doing. And then I'm not willing to miss a day or any time with my kids. So how am I going to do both at the same time? So then I got very serious about building a business. And that's where everything changed for me.
Wow. Okay. What year was it that you ended up getting divorced?
2017, I got divorced, and then 2018 is where I went all in with like, what do I really need? And I did like an org chart, and I am a big fan of, I'm not going to get better at the things I suck at. Like, I'm just not. Like when you were doing your coding shit, I'm like, I would hire somebody. I can't do that. Right? I'm not going to take the time to get better at that skill. I'm going to go all in on the shit that I'm good at, which is what I did. So I did the shit they teach you to do. Hired the admin, got the buyer's agent, only took listings, leveraged my time. Like Tuesdays, Thursdays were my appointment days, was home with my kids. I had the best of all the worlds. And then that business, I had one key hire, Crystal, who we sat down and I showed her, hey, once we get this business squared away, I would like to build all these other businesses around it. And she was like, I'm in. And that was...
So you had that conversation with her, like you had the foresight before like she was even in, and you kind of solidified everything with business number one.
Yeah, oh yeah, I knew what I needed to do, and I was like, it all starts here, right? Like with the real estate business, everybody's in it for the ancillary services, right? So if I can grow this here from that, we can get the title business, we can get the flips, we can get the rentals, we can get property management. So like I knew that was like where it had to be, and I mapped it all out, and I was like, I am the salesperson. I'm the blah, blah, blah person. I need the operations person. And I met Crystal, and we went and we had a couple beers and chicken wings, and I showed her my whole, she calls it my spider map. And that was it. And she was like, I'm in.
No crap.
Yeah.
So was from day one like the plan for her to be like an ops manager, or was it kind of like, it's going to be like an assistant and kind of groom you into, or?
It was, she was my director of operations at the Loughin real estate group. And
Okay.
I was like, dude, all I can tell you is you help me with this shit. I will bring you with me everywhere else.
Okay.
And I always tell people, because everybody was then like, how'd you get Crystal Foster? How'd you get Crystal Foster? Because I'm paying her like shit because I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
But she ate shit for 3 years and grinded her ass off. And then in 2021, we became 50-50 partners, started picking up properties together, flipping, holding the rentals, started the property management company we're 50-50 in. She's got a portion of the title company.
I love it.
But it's like, well, and I also knew, I told her, I'm like, dude, I'm going to golden handcuff the shit out of you where like, it'll never make sense for you to leave me.
Yeah.
You'll be incapable of leaving me. Because I didn't like all the vultures circling and being like, what are you paying her? And I'm like, you can't have her.
Yeah. So how did you know her in the first place?
It was, I put out there to the world, which I feel like one of my things is like when I'm looking for something, I'm like, hey, I really need like a real person.
Yep.
Like I start telling everybody, I need like an operations person. And it was a lady at the Keller Williams office was like, do you know Crystal Foster? And I was like, oh, dude, like the serious girl. She was
The serious girl.
serious girl. She wore like business suits and pantyhose to the office, and she was the owner of KW's assistant.
Okay.
She had given notice. But I'm like, I do know her, but I'm like she's just always so serious, and she wears pantyhose, and I don't know if we jive. And this lady like insisted. She kept being like, you need to sit down and talk. The two of you, like I see it. And I was like, we didn't know we both lived in Pottstown.
Okay.
Then we go and we like meet up. We met up twice, and she was like, I'm in, and I'll start in 2 weeks. And I was like, all right, I guess we'll see how this goes. And now, I mean, we're like the yin to the yang, where everything I'm good at, she's not, and vice versa.
I love that. I love that. So many questions just from that. Like, so, all right. So you start this with her, you bring her in, you got your whole spider web chart and everything. Like, what was the next step after she was kind of bought in? Like, what did you do after that?
So we worked on building the sales business, building out that organization, all the people we needed in that world.
When you say sales business, you mean like agents or?
So I mean agents, but then as like what we were talking about before, then as the agents grow, the agents need a resource. So then we need a director of sales. Then we have all these leads coming in, right? And the thing with agents is nobody wants to manage the leads. Nobody wants to go in the CRM. So then we need a director of lead gen. And then we need a director of sales, lead gen. What else do we have? We have this huge organization that we're growing. Then we need runners. And then,
But so you already had all this in your head with your spider web chart from day one, but you obviously didn't implement and integrate all that from day number one, right?
no, it's like the slow, like, oh shit, we're too busy. And this is also during COVID. So if we start ramping up in 2018, 2019, we're getting busy.
Yep.
Then COVID happens and it's like, we don't have enough people or time or anything anywhere. It's absolute chaos.
Yep.
We look back now, she's like, why didn't we do that then? I'm like, because it was 2021. And she's like, oh, right. Or she's like, why didn't we buy that? I'm like, because it was 2020. Like, we're just so busy.
Yeah.
So we grew that business. I think I was at like 65 sales a year to well over 200 sales at like the height of how busy we were. Last year, I was number one in the office for sales and volume with a much smaller team. My organization's probably a third of the size that it was. And I like running that business so much more than the whole big shit show.
Interesting.
No, because people are hard.
People are hard.
And agents are hard.
Yeah.
And it's a lot to manage. I always said I was a very shitty leader because I got 2 kids. I'm highly motivated. I'm not going to be like, hey, did you make your contacts today?
Right.
Did you do what you're supposed to do? I jive really well with highly motivated people that like we just need each other like for different resources. And that's something I had to learn. Because I'd be like, no, like all you have to do is do this, this, and this. And then when people don't do it, I'm like, then don't come and bitch to me.
Yeah.
You didn't do what you're supposed to do.
Leadership's really fucking hard. And like people often confuse management and leadership. And I still like, I'll die on this hill that they are so different. You know, leadership and management are not the same at all.
I'm like, oh, I'm a really shitty manager. Because I don't micromanage. That's one thing too. Like when I give it to you, it's like removed from my brain and I trust that you're going to do it.
I'm totally the same way.
Really?
Totally the same
Because that's like really hard to find because most people will have to come back and I'm like, no, didn't I tell you to do that? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to check on you.
Yeah.
I don't
I throw something
remember
out
that
there
had
once.
to happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But I think leadership doesn't come naturally to people either. You know?
No, and I think it like for me, I would never be like, oh, I'm a leader. Until all of a sudden these people are like, I'm going to go where you're going. Can I come with you? And then it's like, oh, shit, I guess I am.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, so it's probably like a part of it, just thinking through it. It's like it probably started in a natural way for you because you're a likable people person. So that does make people want to come into your world. And it's like, well, now you have people following you. Now you do have to figure out how to actually lead them.
Right.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly what happened.
So as you were going through that, like, what did you kind of have to, like, were you reflecting on yourself? Like, oh, this is something that I have to improve on or?
Oh, constantly. I'm always like, I'm a sack of shit. Nothing's ever good enough. I should be doing this, this, and this. But what I got better at was realizing just like, not everybody's going to be the best fit for me. And that's okay. For sure. And it doesn't have to be emotional because I would be like so emotionally invested in someone. I'd be like, no, I can make them this, this, and this. And then I like just moved to acceptance. We're like, dude, it's going to be okay. Like, we don't have to be a good fit. We don't have to work together. We can still go grab a beer. And that's like what started to change my whole world is when I looked for the people that were the best fit for me and vice versa.
I love that.
Right?
I love that. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, but then I get so sad. I'm going to miss the people. But I always say I'm doing them a disservice because if you need me up your ass to see if you're doing your job, like I don't have time to be up your ass.
Yeah. Yeah. So with team and being a leader and everything, like, was it what's your girl's name that does ops? Crystal. So like, did she kind of handle some of the management aspect of that or how did you guys kind of like figure out roles, responsibilities?
I think we just naturally divide it. That's a good question. She did everything management. She's a really good manager. She's very serious, very checklisty. Did you do this? Here's your sheet I want filled out. Where I'm like, oh, that shit looks like it sucks, right? So she did anything management-wise, operations-wise, system-wise. Like she's all about the system to the point where I'm like making fun of her. And now it's like, now I appreciate it and recognize the importance of the systems.
Absolutely.
And then I'm doing the sales thing where she'd be like, oh, my dad told me about this guy that has like 6 properties he wants to sell, but like, I don't want to call him. And I'm like, give me the fucking phone number.
Let me add it.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, and to your point, that's the beauty of that like yin and yang like relationship and everything, you know?
Yeah,
like,
but we always say like people think we're very good friends now. Like we talk constantly, but at the time I'm like, I didn't like find my buddy and be like, hey, let's go into business together.
Right.
I really like you.
But that's the thing. It's not about that, right? It's
No,
like it started
like,
from you are good at this and I suck at it, and I am good at this and you suck at it.
Yes.
That's the perfect grounds for a relationship. Like too often people do go into partnerships and businesses. with people that they just like, but they have the same freaking skills, same resources. It's dude, what are you doing?
I've done that. I've partnered with a really good friend where we had the same resources and skills, and it was a disaster, and we were no longer friends. I know. Well, I didn't know that then.
I know. Hindsight, right? Hindsight. So, all right. So as you're scaling this up, you're bringing more people in. Like, what was your, I guess, ideal clients that you went after, like, to generate leads on the lead gen side and everything? Were you always generating leads for agents that kind of came in, or?
Yes. I think last year, something like 76% of our business I generated or the team generated. I don't pay for leads. Like, I don't know how to do that.
What?
I don't know. So I shouldn't say that. We'll pay a small
All right, the
portion.
rest of this podcast, we're talking about not paying for leads.
Yeah. I think I have a weird advantage because I'm from Pottstown. I have a big mouth, right? I know a tremendous amount of people, but I'm just like a master networker. And then we're very, how do I say, nobody's like people-y anymore. Where like, if we sell you a house, you're then in our system and like, I'm going to send you a baby gift. I'm going to send you a gift, a real gift when somebody dies. I'm going to check in on you when this happens. If like somebody gets married, they're going to get this. It's like you become part of our like, we call it like family, not to sound like, too lame, but it's like, who actually sends you a gift anymore?
Not many people. Yeah.
Or like, who's just like, yo, dude, it's been a year. Here's $100 gift.
Yep.
Thanks so much. Hey, we're checking in. Do you need anything? So it's like, I took care of the people I sold to. And then sometimes, like, and I can get away with it, my personality. If we would like be slow, I'd call, I'd be like, yo, dude, this is a sales call. Who do you know that's going to sell? Like, I don't want to talk about anything else right now.
Yep.
And then they're like, ah, and I'm like, no, I'm not joking. And they're like, well, actually, right? Or like, I call like my insurance broker where I'm like, dude, I give you a tremendous amount of business. We got to like take a look at like what's going on here. Is that fair? So I just like kind of like worked on our network. And then two were like super connectors. Like I'd be like, oh, if I wasn't in this industry, I'd be like, Drew, you're looking for houses. Do you know so-and-so and so-and-so?
Yep.
You should absolutely know them. And it's like, there's no gain for me. I just like to connect the people, but then it all always comes back too.
It always does. Yeah, it's wild.
But it's a hard thing to do. It's got like, because we want to eliminate the relationship and human component, right? And do like cast this wide net. And I've like, don't get it twisted. I've tried Google pay-per-click and Zillow leads. We crush Zillow. We do that. But like, I've tried mailers, like you name it, we've done it. And then I'm just like, dude, I'd rather get somebody who knows me, likes me, trusts me, sending me somebody who's friends with them, where then it's like they're cool, instead of some crazy asshole off the internet who I'm like, I want to cut this guy, and now he's a client of mine I don't even like.
Yep.
So it's like we did it that way. So Crystal took every single thing I was doing after I closed a deal. Like I take a picture of the people on the day of closing. I don't do any of this shit anymore, but it's a system. But if you're a realtor on my team, you take a picture of the sold sign. A year later, they're going to get that in the mail with like a thing. Like everything became a system that you do this, this, and this. And it just keeps us connected to our people.
I love that.
I know.
I love that.
It's awesome, right?
So with that, like, it's funny. It reminds me, I had this limiting belief for the longest time. Like I would look at our numbers at the end of the year and I would look at like the number of deals or the amount of revenue that came in from organic referrals, right? And I remember, I think it was like 2020 or 21, whatever. But I was looking at my numbers for the end of the year and it was like, we did like $250,000 in revenue from organic deals. And I'm like, that's not bad. Like that was whatever, 1/8 of our revenue that year. I'm like, that's pretty sweet. I wish that was controllable and I could ramp it up, but I'm me. Like I can't multiply me, and yes, you can. The simplest thing I did, that dumb dry erase check that I have upstairs, it's like anytime somebody brought us a deal, it's like, hey, we're going to take a picture because I'm paying you for the referral anyway. So let's take a picture of this big, stupid, giant dry erase check, Now it's a social media thing and,
same thing
that was
too.
just one simple way.
I'm not even into the social media shit. Like, I think it's relatively lame. I love to get on there to like, see what people are doing. I do more of a lurker. Once I started like ramping up my posting, then too, it's like people I know are like, oh, my grandmom just died. Would you be interested in taking a look at her house? We want to sell it off market. So it's like, that's another thing. My Facebook is like a lot of people who know me who are local.
It's a lead generation machine.
Right. So I hate doing it. And I'm always like, oh, I hate all the posting and having to do all the shit. But it's like, that's where leads come from. So, okay. So why not put out there on the world,
Yep.
Yeah.
So how does that work? Like, since you're kind of like the face of a lot of it, I imagine a lot of the leads come directly to your DMs or something, right? And then are you kind of handling them yourself, or you're handing them off to your team?
This has been a process to where initially I had the limiting belief where like, I have to talk to them and then I have to make an introduction to them to the agent I'm giving it to. I'm at the point now where somebody today was like, hey, I want to buy a house in Westchester. Can you help me? I have no idea who this person is. They DM me on Facebook. I said, absolutely. What's your phone number? Somebody will reach out. I screenshot it. I group text it to our director of lead generation and the agent. And I say, assign to Sean, director of lead gen. We'll put it in the CRM, tag it, get all their info. Sean will see what's missing, get it from them. It's removed from my brain.
I love that. So let me ask you, because like it's rare that I end up talking with sellers or going on appointments or anything like that. But I just had one today that, how do you feel? Because in that case, you said you didn't know who the person was anyway. You were somehow connected on Facebook, whatever, they reached out. But how do you feel like if a relative of yours says, hey, Janel, I have this person, you know, are you still going to handle it yourself, or you're going to hand it off?
I'm not handling anything.
Okay. I love that.
Because I used to think that I have to, right? And once I got the people I trust to do it just as good and or better than me. So I only hire people who love selling real estate, are obsessed with selling real estate, and like they go all in. This is all they want to do. This is their life. They want to answer the phone constantly. They want to make you feel good. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go throw my phone in my bag and go dick around with my kids. So it's like, you're going to get better service from them.
Yeah.
Right. But I had to sort through a bunch of shit to find those people.
Yep.
And then also I'll meet people that I love, like you. If I was like, dude, you're so awesome. I used to be like, join my real estate team. Then now I ask the right questions to be like, oh, you also have a construction company. Oh, you also do this. You just want to sell 5 houses a year. Like, we're not a good fit.
Right.
I want the person who is all in, and this is all they do. This is all they want to do, and they love doing it.
I love that. That makes so much sense.
Yeah, but I had to fuck up a lot before I figured out.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. It's much easier for me on some other areas of the business, and it's probably just a limiting belief. And now I'm just going to do it even on, you know, when a lead comes in. But there's been so many times where we're like wholesaling a deal, and one of my buddies will reach out to me and they're like, hey, can you get me lockbox? Can you get me in? And I just hand them off to my dispo manager, right? And I have people that literally get pissed off at me. They're like, what, are you fucking too good for me? Like, you can't talk to me about it? I'm like, it's not that at all. It's just what you said.
No,
it's
I'm
like
dude, you don't want me.
my dispo guy, he knows everything about this. Like, every question you're going to ask me, I would have to go ask him. He's really good at this.
Yeah.
He's your guy. He will serve you better than I can, you know?
Yeah, and that's what, like, or people that like know me, I'm like, oh, dude, I know nothing. I'm giving it to backup.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. All right, so you ramp that up, you scale that up, have no issues along the way, and everything goes perfectly smooth.
Yeah, it's just all sunshine and roses. No, it was a fucking train wreck.
What do you think some of the biggest obstacles you dealt with while scaling up that side?
In that business, particularly the team, oh God, hiring the wrong people for me. Hiring the wrong agents. Let's say, I guess that's it. Just the wrong people, and taking it to getting caught up in the like, oh yeah, let's go, let's do more volume, right? And then I'm looking at what we're putting up, and I'm like, we had the best year ever. We had whatever 70 million. I'm like, dude, like I didn't make any money.
Yeah.
My profitability was in the toilet. So that's when I was like, fuck this. I don't care what names and lights. I don't care where we're at on the board. I care about what's going into my bank account because that's what I'm doing here every day. And once I made that change, that's when like everything changed for me.
I love that.
But I had to muddle through that for like a couple of years of being obsessed with like the scoreboard, right?
But so do you think, I don't know, even, is it possible, had you not dealt with and wanted or thought you wanted to go to those big transaction numbers or being the top of the leaderboard, you probably would have never had the clarity to be able to refine and be like, oh, well, profitability is actually what I care about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. I just think like naturally when you're that busy, and we were that busy, and I'm not looking at my numbers and the market, like I wrote a great market from 2014 to 2022.
Yeah.
It was like, then all of a sudden I have a ton of other shit going on. It's the fall of 2022. I like start looking at our pipeline. I'm like, where are all the deals? Like, what is going on? And the market turned, and I wasn't watching it. And then all of a sudden, I'm running a big payroll. I have all these agents who want all these things who are never going to sell anything in a market that's hard. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, we got to right this ship right now. So I was like, hey guys, this is where we're at. If this, and this doesn't get better, not everybody's going to work here. And like, I joke around a lot. So everybody's like coming to work wearing shirts like, oh, save me, fire him. And like, and I'm like, this isn't a joke. Like I took a $40,000 loss last month and like, this isn't going to like continue. But again, everybody thinks I'm joking around. Then when I was like, hey, I'm really sorry. Like I can't keep you on payroll. Hey, we're going to let go of these 8 agents because I don't have anybody to manage them and I'm not doing it.
Right.
That's when everything got like, oh, Janel's serious now. This isn't funny anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Can you
For
relate?
sure. For sure. I absolutely can. So like, when you're talking about like overhead with salaries and stuff like that, obviously all the agents are commission only, right? Like you're not doing anything with them. But like you said, like director of operations obviously is a salary position. Well, what other salary positions were there?
So it's director of lead gen, transaction manager. We have a full-time sign runner. But then at that same time.
Sign runner?
Yeah, like he runs, he's a runner. Like think about how much, and I don't know if it's the same for you, but in our business, like take this sign and run it and put it in the ground here, put the lockbox
okay,
on.
got it.
Just like dumb shit. Or like
that makes sense.
We cover a vast area. So sometimes if it's like, hey, you got to run and pick this up and take it here, that's like a 2-hour thing.
Yeah, right.
So it's like that. Eli's our runner. He's a godsend. That's like a full-time job for him, is running around and doing shit that like people don't have time to do.
Yep.
But Crystal was still on my salary at that point, and that was the point where her and I sat down, and I'm like, dude, this isn't headed in a good direction. So like, what's the plan? And we looked at it, and I was like, at this point, the director of operations built all these systems, right? Mm-hmm. So if we did that appropriately, we shouldn't need a director of operations if all these people are doing their jobs. So I was like, do you want to be the transaction coordinator? And Crystal's like, fuck you, I'm out. But this was always the plan too, where she was going to transition out of that role. Like she outgrew it. So I got her off my salary, director of sales off my salary. What was that other girl? There's another girl. There were so many people on salary where and it was a good exercise too, because when times are good, you're like, right?
Yep.
Let's try this. Fuck this. Let's go.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden I'm looking, I'm like, what is this $14 charge? Mm-hmm. What is this $7 charge every month? Does anybody know what this is?
Yep.
And so I got my expenses in line. And then once I could get the sales back up, it was like, oh, look how profitable we are now, rather than just like running amok because we're so busy and let's try this, and this.
Yep. Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse when everything is going well and you do have the money and everything, because it's like, oh, well, let me try some new things. And then you try new things. Like still to this day, like I have softwares that I haven't used in years that aren't cheap. Like we're talking stuff that I pay hundreds of dollars a month for. And I have dozens of them that I haven't used in years. Like,
do we need to go through your expenses?
I think so. If there's one takeaway for me, it's that.
Yeah.
You know?
Sit down. I put everything on 2 different credit cards, everything. And now we go through and I'm like, dude, what is this? Yeah. And just get rid of it. Then if you need it again, you can get it again.
And that's where I screw myself every time, because I justify it. I'm like, yeah, but if that makes one thing a little bit more efficient for us, or we do one extra deal as a result of that. I always fall into that. Like with the wholesale business, it's so hard, especially related to marketing and everything. Like marketing's really expensive, And I've done PPC campaigns where it's like, yeah, I lit $40,000 on fire before like I decided to pull the plug, because you're looking at it and you're like, oh, well, I spent 20 grand. Deal. I just need one. I need one deal, and then you get one deal and you just keep going with it anyway. And another one never happens,
I do completely understand.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I know. But yes, go look at your expenses and you'll feel
I will. All right. So what was the next part? Well, actually, no, I want to linger on that for a minute. So as you're pivoting, 22, right?
22. So I also started in 2018 picking up rentals. So then I'm picking up rentals at the same time. We were doing the Burr method then, right?
Okay.
Because in 2018, you could find a deal on the MLS.
Yep.
You could renovate it, refi it, grab the 3% interest rate, cash flow
Cheap
$800.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a partner, a guy I met on Zillow, and we were up to almost 50 units together.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I was doing that as well. That was from 2018. Him and I broke up during COVID.
Single family rentals is...
we started, it was like single. Dude, let's grab this 2 unit. Let's grab this 3 unit. Hey, I got the jump on this 24 unit. Hey, and my position in that partnership was supposed to be like, find the deal, be the manager, do all the leasing. He was the money guy. So I was like, this is awesome. I have $0 in. I'm getting all the commission. And then we're 50-50 partners. We figure out how he's getting his money back. We refi, he gets his money. We're cash flowing. We're splitting everything. I'm like, this is incredible. And then all of a sudden, he's like calling me 8 times. I'm busy as shit with the sales team. He's like, oh, I want to know this. And he's an Indian guy. I love him. Vishal Patel, if he ever sees this. We're still very great friends to this day. But like, we're not working well together because he has an expectation that I'm going to be at like his beck and call. And I'm like, dude, I don't work for you.
Right.
Stop double dialing me before I kill you. Right.
Yeah.
But he had all this other amazing shit going on, and he offered me the deal of a lifetime. He's like, give me X amount, you can have everything. And I'm like, what? I sent them.
What year was this?
This is 2020.
2020. Okay.
2020.
So in 2 years, you acquired like 50 units with him. That's fucking wild.
Everything I do is in excess.
Hey, that's okay. I understand.
Everything. It's like, wait a minute. My plan was, I think, to get 50 units in 10 years was my plan.
Okay. Compress that timeline just a bit.
Just a little bit. Because then it's an opportunity. And then I start putting the word out there. Hey, if you have a good deal, let me know. Like, I'll buy it. And like, cash, no bullshit, right?
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, we're up to 50 deals. And then the burnt down apartment building happened. So there's an apartment building behind my house. It burns down. I had been trying to broker a deal for a client of mine to buy it. So I know the owner.
Got it.
I end up talking to him, becoming like friendly with him. He's then telling me in passing, I stayed on this for months, but he's telling me he doesn't know if he wants to sell. He's emotional. He might keep it. I call him one day. He's like, oh, I had it under contract, but the buyer's deposit bounced. So I guess I'm going to sell it to somebody else. And I'm like, oh, what do you want for it? He tells me, it's another deal of a lifetime. I'm like, I'll buy it from you. He's like, all right, you can buy it from me. I send him the contract. He then sends it back to me, crosses out the financing contingency. And it's like, you can have it if you can close in 30 days. I have no money. He wants $900,000.
How many units?
It was a burnt down 45 unit.
Burnt down 45 unit. So none of it was habitable at all.
No, whatever.
Like how burnt down are we talking?
Like, I'll show you pictures, like burnt, like the worst, like on Action News, like complete loss burnout.
How long had it been burnt down?
It burned down in June or July, and I bought it the following February.
Okay, gotcha.
It's fucked. But if I can get the plan, so I end up going rogue, pulling equity from another building I have, calling everybody I know, yo, can you spot me 50 grand? Can you spot me 100 grand and pay it back? You know, private money. I'm asking my brothers, I'm asking everybody. I pull together all the cash. I close on the deal, and then this is February. I have until July. I think it was June or July. You have to get the plan submitted to the township within a year. Otherwise, you can only build 8 units.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better rush.
It's very exciting.
Holy shit.
So that was 2021. So we're working on that. I brought in somebody I had met, a contractor, to be my partner on that deal. Because I'm like, I don't know dick about building. I don't know anything. I don't know how to do any of this shit. Right? So I was working on that at the same time. So that took up a lot of 2021 and 2022. And that's when the market started teetering, where I was like, dude, what's happening here? I had been dicking around with the 45 unit and been putting too much time and attention into that I wasn't watching my sales team. We still have that building. We love that building.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So I can totally relate to the not paying attention to the sales team because that was part of my issue with here. You know, it's like we had a timeline issue also, not quite as scary as that one. Like, oh, we need to get this submitted, or we're gonna go from 45 units to 8. That's more stressful.
I look back and I'm like, am I a psychopath? Because I was just like, it'll be fine. That's like my baseline for everything. It'll be fine.
I get it.
And
Me
now
too.
I'm like, dude, that shit was crazy. I made it by 3 days. I didn't even realize. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. Wait till I show you pictures. You're gonna be like, what the fuck? But that partner in that building, then after we completed it, he wanted to sell that. And I did not want to sell it. So then we're like threatening. He's threatening legal action, and we're at each other. And this is all the same time that like the market's falling off a cliff. Rates had doubled that year. I thought we were going to refire out of our construction loan at 3.5%, 4%. They were going up and up and up that year. So that was really exciting.
Yeah, way, way higher, right? What was the total build cost?
We were all in for the land and the building. I want to say around $6 million.
$6 million. Okay.
which was unbelievable. And if Paul Salvo, he's my partner in that building, if he ever hears this, he was incredible. He's like this intense, like maniac. Everything's a fire drill. We got to go all the way, speed, max 100 all the time. And I was like, dude, he's so annoying. Shut up. And then after it was done in 18 months, I was like, I really appreciate how crazy that was. Like,
yeah. Of all people, you should be like, because you like to compress timelines, it seems.
Yes, I do. I just didn't know. I didn't know that there was a reality that like rates would ever do what they did.
Yeah, well,
that was never my reality. Like think about since 2017, 2018, everything's great, everything's fine. I'm like, what do you think's gonna happen? Chill out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And he said he's done 1 million projects. He's a ton of units. He's very successful. And he's like, this was one time in my career where I thought like we're going off the cliff. And he's like, I thought we were done. And we just were able to refi, but I thought I was going to get a ton of proceeds out of that. We didn't get any proceeds. We were able to lock a good rate though. And now it's all good. But at the time it was like, dude.
So the rest of the money, because you mentioned like as you were going under contract on it, you didn't even know how you were going to do the $900,000 purchase. Did you end up bringing in bank financing for any of the build or anything, or did you raise all private?
We did. So Paul, if I was 900 grand, I had pulled 450 from another building I had, a 24 unit, and then Paul put up 450. So we're good. Then we went to a local bank, ESSA, and they gave us a construction loan with like really awesome terms. And our budget was such that like it was like a no-brainer. This is also during COVID though too. So like then we're going to build, and it's like, dude, like you can't do anything. Our lumber was like over $400,000 more.
Insane, yeah.
And there's nothing we can do. Then we're like pulling a hard money loan to get the lumber, because if we don't get it now, it could go up and the bank's not ready. And like talk about like crazy shit where I'm just like, it's always like, this is what needs to happen. So how are we doing that? Like how are we doing that? Because like the bank's not ready. This isn't lined up yet.
Yep.
So then you figure out a way. But that was another thing I looked back on. And I was like, dude, that shit was crazy.
What did you budget for the build?
I don't remember. I want to say we came in, we came in 900 grand over budget, and we crushed it. You could not have done better than we did.
Yeah.
But two, that was another thing we weren't watching. And we're on budget and everything's great and everything's going to be great. Oh, we didn't account for this. Oh, we didn't account for that. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody saw that increase. So then all of a sudden it's like, dude, at the end of the project, we're almost $1 million over budget. And you're telling me the whole time that we're fine?
Yep.
And then I'm going to have some feelings about that. Right? And then he wants to sell and I want to keep it. And the best thing I did there is I had a really good operating agreement where I reserved the right to make the call because it was my deal. And that's how I still have my building. We're still partners. So we get along now.
So how did, I don't know, like those conversations kind of turn into being okay, still partners? Like,
that's really, so it's not as, I say joyful as I'm making it out to be. Like this was like he's used to getting what he wants and I'm used to getting what I want. And we were not friends. It was like, I had the deal he wanted and he had the skill set I needed.
Right.
And I'm going to do the township stuff and the leasing and he's going to do the building and the blah, blah, blah. So we partner, and had like some, I would say some power struggles. I would pretty much take more of a back seat. But then when it came time to make the call, he's used to making the call. And to be fair to him, we were offered a tremendous amount more than this building was worth when it was finished. It's a brand new 45 unit in Chester County.
So you actually had somebody interested in purchasing it?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And he thought, which I totally respect, that I was going to see these big numbers and be like, yeah, let's do it. But then I'm very decisive.
But the plan from the jump with both of you, you were on the same page. We're going to build this. We're going to keep it.
I could not be more clear.
Okay.
This building, I can see it from my backyard. I bought the house I grew up in. This is like where I walk every day. My kids are proud of this project. In their elementary school, and the fire department's there. The fire department, somebody raises their hand at the assembly and is like, what's the biggest fire you've ever fought? And like the guy says, like this apartment building. And my daughter's like, I've raised my hand, stood up and said, my mom owns that building now. She rebuilt that. So I'm like,
that's cool.
Dude, I can't sell my building.
That's cool.
Also, where am I or where are you? Where are we getting at this point in time a brand new 45 unit building where nothing's going to need maintenance for how long, right?
Yep.
Where are we getting that? And how are we affording that now?
Yeah. Yep.
So that's why I'm like, no, dude, like the money's alluring, but also I have to pay capital gains, right? And then my building's gone. Then what? I'm going to walk by for the rest of my life and be like, oh yeah, I owned that for a year and I sold out for an extra $1 million. I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Right.
So then he got upset, which I understand. But then I was like, well, you signed a legally binding contract. And I'm sorry you have a lot of feelings about that, but we're grown-ups. Then he's calling his lawyer and I'm like calling my lawyer. And we're both like, and things are heightened. And I was like, all right, dude, let's defuse. And then we sat down and talked about what he would like to have happen if we stayed in a partnership. And what I would like to have happen. We had a couple drinks, came to a resolution. He also was on to other things. So then I feel like this became like more of like, all right, whatever. Yeah. It's fine. It's something.
Did you consider just buying him out though?
I did. That's what I was going to do. And then I'm like, dude, like, where am I getting another fucking $3.5 million right now? I had like 90 days to find it. Then I got to pull in, I'm looking like, who's going to buy him out? Then I got to get a partner group together.
Right.
That's what I'm working on. Cause I'm like, I'm not selling my building. This guy can go fuck himself. Right. Yep. But then while all this is happening, the other businesses are like, meh.
So tell me about that. Like what was going on with the other businesses throughout this
it was
stressful time?
When I feel like it's like gaining weight, right? So like you don't look at it and I'm not looking at it and like just the market turned and sales are dropping and rates were rising. And it's like, as you're like gaining a little bit, you don't notice until it's like, why are my pants so tight? And it's like, I didn't keep an eye on it.
The little things, day by day.
Every day. And then it's like the perfect storm. So that's how that'll happen. But then out of that grows good habits. Now I'm like, all right, let's check in. Who's doing what? Let's look at this every week. Let's see what's happening here so that we never get to this place again.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank
but
you.
Same thing. It's you wouldn't know unless you had kind of gotten kicked in the teeth in that way. It's weird how, like, I don't know, you know so many things, right? And it's like, I'm sure you've been connected for a long time with really successful people that have probably given great wisdom to you. But we still don't really apply it to our life until we get kicked in the teeth and have that
the hard way, right? And I gotta feel it.
It's
and
wild.
I gotta be like, fuck.
We're so dumb. We're so dumb.
So
Us
stupid.
humans.
I say that all the time. I'm such an idiot.
Oh man. So figuring that out, how to kind of make sure that that doesn't go wrong again, and you're able to kind of keep a finger on the pulse. What did that kind of boil down to? Like kind of having KPIs, having metrics that you look at, having reports. What was it?
So yes-ish. For me, I have like 2 spreadsheets I need to keep a look at. I got to see what's in the bank and I look at the deals coming in and the leads. That's it. I know that other people have needs for like, you probably have like multiple screens and all this crazy shit going on. I'm not that person. So it's like I look at this and then I have the ability where I took 8 months off last year. I just totally was like, you know what, dude? I'm going to take a little bit of time. That was in April. I did not work from April until December, and my business went great. I worked 6 hours a week, 6 or 7 hours a week, but I look at my 2 reports, and as long as we're good, we're good. I came back this year, and I'm looking terrible first quarter, which I'm like, I'll eat that. Like I just checked out of my business for 8 months. I look at the 2 sheets. I can jump back in and lead generate, and now we're back to where we need to be. So that's what I need, but I feel like everybody's different.
Everybody is different.
Yeah.
And that's why
I don't need a lot of information. I need the key pieces of information for me.
It's funny because it's like I'm totally the same way, but like my thing with sales teams and kind of articulating my message to them, because it's like for me, it's like, yeah, it's what's revenue and what's in the pipeline and everything. Like I can probably boil it down to 3, maybe 4 metrics also, but it's the making it a digestible metric for somebody on our sales team to be like, oh, well, it's okay. Of course, like my metric that you are being graded on is like number of contracts you have in the door, which then turns into amount of revenue that's being generated from you as a salesperson, right? Mm-hmm. But if you don't hit this and you don't hit this, it's like those are kind of big targets. So it's like, well, what's the next metric down that if you hit that, it will correlate to this? You know what I mean? So It's kind of like reverse engineering that. And it's like, well, if you talk to this many people, or you spend this much time on the phone, or you make this many phone calls, like it's impossible to not hit this number,
but
you know?
Like,
but those aren't really numbers for me, right?
I'm like, I'm not tracking all that.
Yeah.
But I understand they should be tracked.
Yeah. Yep. So that's a couple businesses, but you have other things too.
Yeah, but that's like the main. I want to say that's like the main crux. Like we have like do you have anything in title? I feel like title's a natural. Oh, dude, we should talk then.
My assistant for years has been trying to get me to start a title company. I'm like, fuck no.
We will talk then. Yes. Why? Do you know how much money you're leaving on the table?
I don't care.
What?
I don't
Do
care.
you have kids?
I do.
They're probably gonna need braces. Do you know how much college costs?
I already did braces with one. It's okay. It's okay.
All right. Well, why do you feel this way?
Because, my bias is built on, obviously, with wholesale, every deal that we do is a dirty, messy, freaking clusterfuck of title issues,
Yeah, it does
right?
suck.
So we deal with really, really crappy situations, and just thinking of doing that at scale sounds terrible, you know?
Who are you using for title?
Different title companies in all states because we wholesale in Pennsylvania, Jersey, and Delaware. And that's the thing. Like, I have buddies that own title companies, and they're like, "Oh, you should bring your business here." And I'm like, "Dude, you don't want our business. Trust me, you don't." Like, I feel bad for the title companies that we do work with, because
I'm like, I get it. So if you don't,
and we have a lot of fallout, right? It's like, deals that fall apart. Like, it's almost never. I shouldn't say never, because there's probably been 2 times ever that like we fucked up and offered too much on a deal and had to pull out, right?
Yeah.
But more times than not, it's like a seller ghosts us and then we're filing a list pendants or a memorandum or whatever. But it's like, yeah, well, now we, or the title company, did all that legwork to get everything done and cleared, and we're at the 11th hour and now the deal's not happening, right? All the time in our business, right? So that's where my bias comes from.
all right. I mean, I get it, but also, I feel like you could. We'll talk then, but
Okay.
you could figure out a system where like everybody's got to know the deal, right? You're a whole because I do Harrison's deals,
Okay.
and it's like that's a huge pain in the ass. So it's kind of the same premise.
It's gotta be, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have a TC either, so you're handling all that crap.
No, we're his TC.
Oh my
which
God,
we're
yeah.
gonna
See,
have a
God bless
conversation
you.
about.
Yeah, see, Jess is awesome. Like, she does all of it. That's the thing. Like, we really do handle everything for the title company, so we're kind of like taking everything off their plate. And the only reason I do that is because I've had so many shitty experiences with title companies where it's like, dude, we got this monster deal and you simply didn't go get a payoff, and now the deal's not going to close and I'm going to lose 50 grand. Like, no, fuck that. We're going to take care of it in house,
I would kill somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, we did property management because it's like once you get so many rentals,
Okay.
it makes sense, right?
course.
Who do you use for management?
Self.
Okay,
Oh,
so
again, assistant and wife, they handle all the rentals.
So there was a time where we were growing that business and doing other people's management as well, and then we were just like, dude, we don't have to do this. Like, there's not enough money in it for it to be that pain in the ass. We let go of the clients we didn't like, kept the clients we did like that were easy, and it's like that's business. But it's like everything comes from the shit we're doing. It's like all the other little side businesses.
Okay. Well, what would you say of the little side businesses? What is the most profitable one?
I mean, our flips. We flip. We.
I was gonna say, don't tell me title, Janel. God damn.
No, title's just like an extra little it makes sense. Fun money. But no, like the flips, the wholesales. We got caught last year though. We did, I forget the number of flips, call it 15. And we weren't watching. Then all of a sudden we met with the accountants in the fall and I'm like, do we owe what? In capital gains taxes? I'm like, we didn't properly budget for that. We didn't account for that.
It's still an okay problem. Like, if you're getting hit with a big tax bill, it means you made a lot of money.
So I hate when people say that shit.
I know, I get it. Believe me.
I want to figure out how to exchange it or minimize it as much as possible, and I wasn't doing that. So then that's why I feel like the disdain, because I'm like, oh, what could I have done better?
And what is your takeaway from that? What do you think you can do better?
What
are you doing?
We were doing some stupid shit where we weren't paying ourselves commission, where commission comes off the top line, because it's argued, why would we pay? So just stuff like that, and putting our key takeaways from the accountant is here's what's deductible and here's what's not. It has to be at closing, not after the fact. And there were things that we were like, oh, we should put that on the sheet. And it's like, dude, now we know. So moving forward, that's going to be rectified. But we're still going to wholesale and flip shit, but taxes are a real thing.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
A very big thing. Mm-hmm. So we focused on that a couple of years ago. We went to Wealthability and paid for a whole bunch of different programs to be what are the things that we should know that we don't know?
And what were your big takeaways from that?
Making sure everything's filed appropriately. Everything, if you run everything on a fiscal year versus not, or having, and then having things in trust.
Okay.
That was a big thing, setting them up appropriately for the future.
For assets that you're holding on to, not flips, right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, because there's a lot. We have, it's kind of like different buckets in our head. We'll be like, oh, this is definitely a flip, right? But like this is like going to our kids. So like, what's that look like at the time of purchase?
Got it.
So we'll bucket things and like kind of know.
Got it. So what's the ideal flip that you're doing? Like purchase price range, renovation range?
Deal horrors. Like we look at it, we try to stay in our Pottstown, Pennsylvania bubble, right there. And it's like if it meets our minimum profit, which we like to be at least at like 50 grand.
Okay.
We'll do it.
Okay.
But like we'll do whatever because we have all the resources there.
But like if it's a $50,000 profit, but let's say hypothetically, just to go to the extreme, like it's a freaking $400,000 renovation, it's not as sexy anymore, right? Like you're not into it.
I mean, as long as I'm guaranteed the 50 grand.
Yeah.
After
Okay.
the holding costs, yeah, I don't give a shit.
Okay. Gotcha. So that 50 grand is the hard line in the sand for you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we've got tripped up a couple of times too, where we're like, we know multiple people want it. We're going to fight for it because we want it. And it's like the only time we've ever lost is where I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Why do we let our egos get into that? Like we dropped below our number, which then we didn't budget for all the oh shit stuff, right?
No, does that happen?
Did
things go wrong? Fuck.
Yeah. We got burned real hard last year. We kept buying places that were tenant occupied.
Okay.
And we're like, oh, we know the eviction.
We can get them out.
We were so good at getting people out. It was like clusterfuck after like, dude, these people know how to work the systems. Mm-hmm. We're still dealing with like one nightmare where like this was a killer deal. And now like we'll probably get out even after it's all said and done.
Really?
Yeah.
How long did it take to get that tenant out?
They're still there.
Still there from last year.
From the time that we filed eviction, apparently in Montgomery County, the courts are so backed up, they're not giving you a court date for like 9 months. And that tenant can stay there rent-free for 9 months.
Rent-free, like they don't even have to pay escrow?
No. In Chester County, we had the people paying into escrow, but then they're like figuring out the least amount. And then right before like the court date, then they're bouncing. But we just lost X amount. And it's just like, dude, system's broken. I don't know who's listening to this.
Unfortunately, like it seems that nobody really cares. It's in the positions of power that could do anything. And yeah, I was just at a real estate meetup last night where an attorney was talking and a bunch of people were asking him, like, you know, he's an attorney and a judge, whatever. But people were grilling him, like, what's up with, you know, these tenant eviction appeals? And it's painful to me because I have one right now. Like, we freaking evicted this tenant, like, got the possession granted like July of last year, and then went to go schedule with the constable. First time I've ever experienced this. They appealed, right? So it's like, okay, cool. Now they have to pay their money into escrow every month, which is a nightmare because I have to go to the court and I have to have an attorney to collect my money, whatever. First thing that pissed me off about that is, okay, now they have to start paying their monthly rent into escrow. But what about the fucking $8,000 that they're already in arrears? Do they have to start catching up on that? No.
Yep.
So, all right, well, so that's like July of last year, and they tell me that I'm not going to go to court until May of this year. It's like, oh, okay, so 9 months, whatever. As long as I'm still collecting my money, though, okay, great. So the whole shtick is if they miss one payment by 1 day, their appeal is striked, it's thrown out, and you get possession. So we literally just had one. And I was like, oh, we're almost in May anyway. But we literally just had one. They missed a payment, and we get a notice from the court saying, they have to be out in 7 days. And the constable posted on their door. I'm like, fucking A, cool, get them out. And 3 days later, we find out that they appealed that. I'm like, so wait, they can indefinitely like just appeal everything that happens and just stay there forever? Like this was not a thing before.
No, I know. This is what we keep running into. Also, it's a thing. I'm like, I don't know if we should be giving all these secrets away. But it's like you can file, if you file a protection from abuse. So you are my tenant. I'm evicting you. You file a protection from abuse, you are terrified of your wife. I can't evict you if you have filed a protection from abuse against anyone. You get to stay as long as you have that protection order. What the fuck is actually happening?
Insanity. How is that the landlord's problem?
Exactly. So they can say they're not pay. And that's what we just learned that the hard way too, this last year, 2 years.
Brutal. Brutal.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Landlording's easy. It's fun. It's just like they show you on TV.
It's passive income, right? It's
Totally
passive
totally
income.
hands-off, yeah.
Yep. Dude, I get pissed off now. Like when newer people are like, oh, I want to get into rentals because I just want the passive income. It's like, oh my God, man, there's nothing passive about it.
Dude, but don't you think it used to be like a little bit I don't know, like if it's just like my perception. I feel like COVID made everything like turned up and crazy. Like before, I was managing 50 rentals, like pretty like I had it.
Yeah.
And people paid their rent, or I was like, oh, I'm going to evict you.
Yep.
And now it's like everyone's figuring out the loopholes to work the system. And I'm just like, shit got crazy.
Dude, it's insane. I was just talking to somebody about this same concept the other day, that it's like, it's weird when you think about it, right? So you as a person, as a professional, like you would probably say that you are way better, way smarter, way more intelligent, way more connected now than you were 11 years ago, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Obviously. But still, shit seems harder now than it did when I had no experience. What is that? Like everything is continually getting harder for everybody. And I'm not just like, I'm talking about people at the top that were like crushing it at one point or still are, but they're like, everything is harder now than it ever was. Why is that?
I don't know. I just think everybody got like way more litigious and works the system, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't have evictions for years. Like, we had no evictions for years now. And I think, like, we're just about to see, like, a really bad streak. That's my personal opinion. Because I don't know if you, like, follow the economy and stuff. Doesn't look like things are going well.
So I remember, like, 2 years into COVID and everything, like, a bunch of my buddies, they kind of hit the wave before me, the wave of, evictions and everything, or just tenant turnovers, right? And everybody was so excited because it's like, oh, I had a 3-bedroom apartment. I was getting $1,300. Sure, I had to do a turnover, but now I'm getting $2,000. Like, hey, this is awesome. And I had a couple turnovers and everything that I was able to get more money out of. But I still looked at it even at that time, and I don't know, I guess I had the foresight to be like, okay, cool, I can get more money right now and everything. But this is not sustainable for the tenants that we're renting to. Like, okay, maybe they can afford it right now, but as the economy and inflation does what we expect it to do, and this is even 2-3 years ago, it's like, yeah, it's going to come to a head at some point.
Yeah.
And with a tenant, there's no question about it. I don't care what asset class we're talking about. Like, doesn't matter the level of income of the tenants. They are always going to choose to pay their cell phone bill, to pay their cable bill, to pay everything else before you.
Their groceries.
You are the first one to get cut.
One of my mentors, this is like his whole thing. He was telling me a couple years ago. I'm like, what are you even talking about? And now I see if we had no turnover forever. And now it's like, I see if we're losing people, like, I'm like, where are they going? They're like, oh, they're moving back home. Oh, they're moving in with their sister. So it's like, even if they're paid up to date, it's like they're moving in with family because they can't afford to live alone anymore. And I'm like, that's what's happening.
It's a fucked up problem.
I know.
And people that aren't landlords, they just look at it like, oh, you landlord piece of shit, greedy asshole, like just charging more for rent. It's like, you see what taxes have done? Like, do you know, like maintenance costs, material, everything's through the roof, I'm not making more money on my rentals now than I was, again, 7-8 years ago.
Yep.
I'm probably making less.
I bought one 7-unit building from a guy who owned it forever. This guy took such incredible care of this building and the tenants. People in the building, they had a baby. It was disturbing the lady upstairs. He soundproofed the unit. He would go above and beyond. So I buy this from him, and the rents are like 40% of where they should be. I like increased to like 65% of market value because I'm like, I don't want anybody to leave.
Yeah.
I want to be fair. You should have seen the pushback. We want to see a list of improvements you've made to warrant this increase. And I'm like,
all right, now you can go.
Yeah, well, that's like, Crystal's really good. She used to handle all that. Now we have a property manager, but she would just be like, hey, like, you don't have to live here.
That's right.
I encourage you to look around. And if there's someone else you'd like to go, we will let you out of your lease. And then everyone's always like, we'll stay. Right?
Yup.
Yeah, but no, it's a thing. It's like, we're exactly what you said. We're not greedy. The cost of everything has gone up for us too.
Yep, exactly. Wow.
Did we cover everything? Did we do it?
I don't know. There's so many more questions that I can think of and everything. But like, so for you as, I don't know, I guess just from a personal or professional standpoint, like what were the things that you kind of had to work on with yourself over the years to be the person that you are today?
Oh, dude, there's so many. I say I'm not the same person I was like in 2017. My big thing is, though, whenever I would meet with somebody like you, I always would ask in the beginning when I was like, I'm going to do all these things, right? I feel like I got this entrepreneurial brain and this like female body, which is like kind of like I'm a handicap. So I would always ask everybody like, oh, what's your wife do? That's a real question. What's your
Stay-at-home mom with the kids.
Exactly. So I'm like, how in the fuck am I going to do what you do and what she does? So I got hard. Like, I went all in on leverage. Like, what can I leverage to the point where it's like almost ridiculous? And I've been doing that since 2017. And I feel like that like changed my life incredibly. Because how would you be if, dude, you got to be home to get your kids off the bus at 3:22.
Yeah. No, I say all the time, like, my wife is my superpower. Like, there's no question that the reason that I do and have the ability to do all of the crazy shit that I've done is because I do have that aspect covered.
So all you guys did. So I was like, dude, I better figure this out. So I went all in on leverage at home, where like, I'm like, all right, if I can get, I had a housekeeper before it was trendy, not a house cleaner, like somebody who did all the annoying shit, like go through the kids' clothes and like, these are too small. Just all this dumb shit that takes time that like, I don't want to do that shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to do laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I want to come home at 3:22 and I want to be with my kids and I want to hang out with my kids. Cause it's like, how much time do we get? Right. My kids are 10 and 12 right now. They are going to be gone. So I'm like, if I can go to work all day, and I'm an early riser, I get up in between like 4 and 5. So I'm like, if I can do my stuff from 4 to 5 to 3 o'clock and give everybody else that time, then I can't spend from 3:22 to bedtime with my kids. Like, how fucked up is that? So I was like, that's what needs to happen here. So I did everything I did was to get to that place.
I love that. I love that. That's, I can't even like comprehend and wrap my head around. I don't know. It just seems incomprehensible to me, like that I would not be able to do that.
The work expands in the time allowed. You ever see how like
I totally agree with that.
You can get all your shit done before you go on vacation?
Yeah.
I'm going on vacation every day. I have to do this, this, and this. This is absolutely what needs to get done today. And I look at my list and it's like, I can handle these things. Who can I get to do the rest of this shit? And if it doesn't have to be me, like to the point where it's like an email comes in.
Yeah.
I could write back and respond. I forward it to somebody else to respond. I'm not responding.
Yeah.
Right? And all that extra time adds up and then I get that time back. But that's like what made me very different. And everybody's like, how'd you do that? And I'm like, because I didn't have a fucking choice.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to miss my kid's life because I'm off building businesses. Like, no, there's no way.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So being a woman in what you do, is it an obstacle or a superpower?
It is both, depending upon. So it is very funny to see how sexist some people are, but then you're often underestimated. Where I'll be like, oh, what are you saying? Like, I don't understand. Like, can you explain it to me, right? And then it also can be like a superpower where I can like play to that. Like if somebody's being a little pervy, I can like play to that and be like, oh, really? Like what? What do you mean? So, but then it's also, it works both ways too, where it's like, I could get dismissed because I'm a woman. Like when I was telling you, I'm like, did you buy this from a dude? I'm pretty sure he dismissed me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then I have the personality where like, if somebody dismisses me and underestimates me, I'm going to take that and run with it because I'm just like, oh, you're never going to see me coming.
Yep. That's fuel, isn't it? That's fuel.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't imagine what it's like. It's wild, but I think it's an advantage to us.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know many female, like Crystal and I struggle because we would love to get around more female entrepreneurs because we do believe it's different being the mom and being.
Absolutely.
Right? So
Absolutely.
It's like we talk about our struggles and bounce things off each other, but I'd love to have a bigger network there.
They have to exist, right?
I mean, I think maybe.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like figure
Is that not
out.
something like you actually like seeked out and like women's mastermind groups or they got to exist?
Yeah, but I think we're fucked up too. Like I don't have like a lot of feelings. So I tried a couple different things and people are like sitting around crying and talking about how they feel. And I'm like, dude, this isn't the right room. Like, I don't really care. Like I just wanted to get like some good like takeaways. So I do better in like the men's rooms, but like then we don't have the same struggles.
Gotcha.
So it's hard. It's a weird thing.
Gotcha. What do you think the emotional disconnect is for you?
I think I was just born this way, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I just don't take things personally and I'm just not I'm logical to a fault to the point like my mother thinks there's something wrong with me. She says I've always been like this. Because I'm just like, oh, what happened? All right, well that's upsetting, but like what do we need to do? Then I just don't.
Yeah, I would say, that's probably more of like a manly quality, right? Because men get accused all the time of, oh, you're not sympathetic. Like, and it's like, well, no, because I'm a fixer, right? It's
Yeah,
like I see a problem, I fix the problem.
That's exactly
right?
what I'm going to do. Yeah. So I don't know. And Crystal and I are both like that. That's why we work so well together. But then other people who do have feelings, we have to be like, dude, they have feelings. And like, that's a normal thing. Like, we're the freaks.
Yeah. I get that. I relate to that.
The only thing I have
I'm
feelings
pretty
with
bad
is
at
like
it.
my kids. That's like my only.
Well, of course. Boy, girl, both girls?
I have two girls.
Two girls. Okay. 10 and 12. Okay. Awesome. What do you think how do I ask this? How do they view you?
Dude, I'm just mom. Like, they have no earthly idea. Like,
really?
Yeah. Like, I'm just mom, and like, I have to like tell them sometimes, because they do view me as like, I got it. I got everything figured out. And sometimes I'm like, yo, dude, I need some help here. Like, it's just me. Can you do X, Y, and Z? But one of like the biggest, like the thing I am most proud of in this world is my relationship with my kids.
That's awesome.
Where it's like, we can talk, they listen, they get what I'm saying, we have great conversations. I try to communicate with them. That's another great thing I did back like years ago. I used to hide, like if I was like 2021, 2022, like I'm dying inside. I'm having this terrible thing happen and this happened, and I'm always pretty happy. My natural baseline's like an 8.5. I'm just like always here.
Hell yeah.
And then I had like a really hard day, and I'm just like, all right, I'm okay, right? The one kid comes in, she's like, oh, like, can you help me? What's the difference between a rhombus and a square? And I'm like, dude, I'm done. Then the other kid's like grabbing a knife. She's like, I'm going to cut my stuffed animal, and I'm going to stuff it with my other stuffed animals. It'll be like it's pregnant. I'm like, and I'm just like, I just start bawling. They'd never seen me cry. They're both like, and then from that point on, I started like telling them. So like when they come home now, I'm like, listen to me. I didn't have the best day, so I need you to like not do your bullshit today. Like, we're not going to negotiate on a shower, or like if you're going to brush your teeth, right?
Yep.
And now it's like such a different thing where my older daughter's delightful. It's the younger one. That's always like pushing. But that communication now, instead of me like blowing a fuse or like completely melting down, I'm like, hey, I can't today. I need your help today. And like my little one especially, like when I do it, I'm like, I had a really hard day. She's like, same. That's her thing. Same.
That's cute. That's
yeah,
cute.
But communication with them was key too. Instead of me just always acting like it's okay, everything's gonna be great, it's fine. It's like, no, mom's human too.
Yeah.
My daughter actually just told me 2 days ago. She's like, you packed me a sandwich with nothing in it. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I forgot to tell you. You put 2 pieces of bread.
It's just bread.
I'm like,
be thankful for the bread. Come on.
I said, dude, I'm doing the best I can. For real, like, I'm sorry.
Buy a lunch today. I don't know what to tell you. Buy a lunch.
No, I pack. I'm obsessed with what I eat.
Wow. There's on the parenting side, I think, dude,
parenting's hard.
It's really hard. And there's no book.
Well,
actually, no, there's a million books on it, right? It's like, but there is no right way,
I just had this conversation with them 2 days ago where they were saying something like, well, I wish like you would have done this and this. I said, guys, I'm trying to figure it out too. I said, I know you look at me and you think like I have all the answers. I was like, I don't know. Like, I didn't know how to be divorced. I didn't know the best way to do this. And like my younger daughter was like, huh. Like she it was like blew her mind that I'm like, think about when you were little.
Yeah.
You think your parents know everything.
Yeah.
We don't know anything.
Yeah.
We're just all trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth? Do they know though, like what you do, that like mom's kind of a badass and you have so much going on and you're in control of so many different things?
Not like kinda-ish sometimes, but then not really. Like I'm just their mom. Because like they'll say like things like, oh, like so-and-so said they knew you, or like, are you an influencer? And I'm like, no, like what are you talking about, right? But like, and they kind of get it, because I think they see too, like I'll talk about different things, and like their friends are like, how many houses do you guys have? And they're like, I don't know, mom, like how many houses do we have? And like they know, they're like, oh, I think like mom has like 200 like rentals, and like they're like, what? So like they kind of know, but they're still too young to like really get it.
Yep.
Which I like.
I love that.
Because like I'm worried about them, dude. Think about how we were raised. Mm-hmm. And now you're raising them, and they're like, oh, can you order that for me on Amazon? Will it be here today? And I'm like, their expectations.
Yeah. That's a whole other thing.
Right? Yes.
What do you want? Like, what's the goal? What's the end goal? What is the goal post?
I just want to do, so it's sickness, right? Because I've already hit the post, and then I moved the post, and then I hit the post, and then we moved the post, and then we hit the post. And We're always moving it. I just want to do fun shit with people I enjoy my time, and do the work I like. That's it.
What is fun shit now? What does that look like?
Different projects. Like I love, I'm like the dopamine addict, right? So I love getting like a good deal as long as like this person's happy, the seller's happy, we're going to crush it, putting the right people in place on the project. And then I love running my team. I absolutely adore my team. That's fun again. For years it wasn't fun. It was just like, but it was like the beast feeding all the other things. So it was like, it was really, really, really hard.
Yeah.
But now I adore everyone on my team. That's fun. What else do I like? Yeah.
How big's the team now?
Not overly big. We have probably like 6 agents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome.
It's wonderful and perfect, and an amazing transaction coordinator that I adore that will never watch this. But she's been with us since 2020. Lead generator, or director of lead gen, he's been there since 2021. Runner's been there since 2020. Like we have like a really good core that I've had for years now, where it took how many years to find those people.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Totally understand.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's not about, I just like enjoying my life and get my time back.
So is it like, do you feel that you're kind of already in the bonus rounds? Like you kind of...
No, like what are we talking? Like financially right now? Like what? Like
yeah, financially always ties into it in some way, shape, or form, right?
My like secret sneaky goal now is I would like to, and I never thought I'd say this because I was a leverage freak. We leverage to get more, right? We borrow against this to get the next thing, and I did that for years and years and years to get everything I have. And now I'm like, what would it look like if I just focused on paying everything off that I'm going to keep? And then I have no mortgages. And then what's that do to the money I have coming in? And then what do I have to worry about?
Yeah.
So that's like my next like thing. I'm actually, and I never, ever, I used to laugh at my friends who were like, why do you keep leveraging? Just pay things off. That's my mom's mantra, right? Pay off your house. And I'm like, I have a 2% interest rate. I'm not paying off.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if I start paying off my income producing properties, and then my, if that payment's eliminated and it doubles my return every month. Like,
right. From the financial perspective, it changes a lot of things, though, from the tax perspective and everything, and a whole lot of other crap to be figured out. But it's like, are you just tied to it because you freaking love it and you've been in it and you're just immersed in it? Because it's like, I imagine you could probably sell everything tomorrow and be okay, but that's not what you want to do.
No, and trust me, there are days where I'm like, yes, I'm selling everything.
Yeah, I've been saying that the last week. I'm like, I'm selling all my shit,
Yeah, there are days where do I consider that? Sure. But then at the end of the day, like, dude, it's just like a bad couple hours.
That's right.
Like, we're going to figure it out. We're so blessed. We're too blessed to be stressed and all that bullshit. And then ultimately, everything I do is for my kids.
Do you want your kids to someday, be entrepreneurial as well?
I don't care if they are or if they aren't. I just want them to enjoy what they do and be really good at it.
I love that.
Right? Because my older daughter for a while was like, oh, I want to be a teacher. And her dad's like, you're not being a teacher? Like, that's terrible. Do you know what schools are like now for teachers? And I'm like, hun, if you want to be a teacher, that's great. Now she wants to be a doctor. Now we're like, well, that's terrible. Do you know how long it takes to and then do you know what your life's like?
Yep.
You are tied to that job for 80 hours a week, but I'm just like, you know what? They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think that they'll have an extreme advantage where, think about if you always knew you had some money, where you didn't have to make all your decisions based on money. So if they want to be
I
a
have
teacher,
mixed feelings about this.
So
I
do too, to the point where you're going to be okay, but you're not living large. You're not living large for a long time.
Maybe my bias is because of the way that I know how to motivate myself. And I love pressure. There's been so many times where it's like,
dude, I thrive.
That's my thing. It's even when I do, it's very rare that I have a lot of money liquid anyway, right? It's it usually goes into an asset.
I never have any money.
Yeah. Real estate investors, it's we're terrible. We never have money. But even when I do for short periods of time, I kind of hide it from myself. I like to feel like I'm fucking broke.
What's wrong with us?
I don't know.
I'm exact same way where I'm oh, I'm going to sell this building. I'm going to have so much money. Immediately we find something else, money's gone out the door.
Yep.
Yeah, and everybody's like, thinks that I have a lot of money. I'm like, I don't have any money.
Yeah.
I own a lot of real estate.
Well, especially people that aren't involved in real estate at all. It's like, what do you mean? Like you have a net worth of X amount? Yeah, that's
I can't eat
on
bricks,
paper.
bro.
That's right. That's right.
You know what eggs cost right now?
Yep. That's the truth.
I think it's personality. Like, can you see your kids' personalities? Like, are they very different?
Yes.
So, like, my older daughter, I have zero concern. She will always work. She will always do well. It's like the little one where I can already see where she'll be like, So, like, I would provide.
It's the exact same for me.
Provide enough just so, like, they're not going to be in the streets, but, like, you're not living large, right?
Yeah.
And if you want to be a teacher, I don't want you to not do that because you're worried that, like, it's not enough money or something. So it would be something like that.
I love that. I love that.
But, like, I didn't get shit from my parents, right? I don't know. Like, I didn't get shit.
And that's my thing. It's like, I look at myself and the way that I was raised and everything. And it's like, I didn't come from a great neighborhood. My parents didn't have a lot of money or anything, you know? And a lot of it, like high school, I went to Catholic school and I got kicked out of Catholic high school in my freshman year.
What'd you do?
I was just an asshole. Like most of it was, I had long hair at the time and I wouldn't cut my hair and I would get demerits and then, you know, then I would get detentions and suspended and then,
So
it was like,
defiant.
I was diagnosed with that as a kid, oppositional defiant disorder, whatever.
You're a disruptor. That's why you're so good at what you do, right?
Probably, seriously. But yeah, I don't know. I'm so grateful for the way that I turned out. So I don't know. I have a bunch of friends that are really wealthy and they're like, I don't want my kids to ever have to struggle. I don't want them to ever have to like have pain. You need the fucking pain.
Yeah.
And it sucks, right?
It
Like,
sucks so bad, but then it makes you who you are and it makes you better.
Yeah.
I could go on like a whole soapbox about
Yeah.
like this next generation where I'm like, dude, they're being raised like, oh, well, like how you feel is like, then like if somebody hurt your feelings today, you should go like lay down at the guidance counselor. And I'm like, it doesn't happen in the real world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And like I explained to them, like, especially when they're like, I don't want to go to school. I don't feel the best. I'm like, I don't feel the best either.
Yeah.
I still have to go to work today.
Do what you got to do.
The world still spins.
That's right.
Yeah, but I'm like, dude, it's not. We're in for, I don't know.
That's awesome. It seems you're definitely going to instill good values in them and everything. Obviously, I can tell.
Try my hardest.
Hey, that's all that we can do, right?
Yeah, but I'm fighting an uphill battle, man.
Yeah, I get it. Well, those ages too, 10 and 12.
Shit's just getting real right
Yeah.
now with like the feelings and the emotions, and I'm like, oh gosh, I don't feel like that.
I get it. So, bringing it back, one last question for you. If you went back 11 years ago, kind of knowing what you know now, would you have done anything differently?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I'm sure I would. I would have gotten my systems and CRM and all that shit together. Like, but that like came 5 years too late, right? Or I would have hired the right person. What else would I have done? I would have bought more shit when the interest rate was 3%. And
When people tell me like, oh no, I don't really have anything, I'm like, dude, what do you mean? Like buy more houses? Yeah, come on. This is a hypothetical here. I would have bought everything.
I would have bought everything I could because, like, dude, you looked at me and you're like I bought 50 units.
Yeah.
In 2.5 years, and in my head, I'm like, I wish I would have bought more.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely would have bought more. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. I think I've done pretty good. What else should I do? Yeah, I think that's it.
Do you think like 5 years, 10 years from now, we're going to look back at today? Because right now everybody's like, oh, price sensitive, like prices are through the roof and everything. Like it's probably pretty likely that we're going to look 10 years back on today and be like, oh, I wish I fucking bought everything.
I don't know when that doesn't happen.
Right?
Yeah, I can't imagine. So if inflation's doing
It's hard to
what
stomach
doing,
though.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what's going to happen in the next generation. And especially so if we have all these assets and they're worth X amount now, we have permanent financing on them, right? It's like, what are they going to be worth in 10 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then right now, and like, you know, I deal with consumers every day where they're like, oh, we're going to wait. I'm like, dude, do you know what do you think's going to happen? Because I don't think prices are going down.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that my crystal ball is broken, but you know,
I only regret the shit I didn't buy. That's what I always say.
I love that. I love that. People say all the time, like, oh, you know, like sometimes the best thing you can do is say no. And it's like, I don't know. I don't remember a lot of deals that I'm like, I'm glad I didn't buy that, you know, like,
I can't think of a single deal.
Maybe that's just kind of being an opportunist though.
Yeah, maybe we're sick.
Yeah, there's probably that. Yeah. Janelle, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. I'm really trying to make the transition from Facebook to Instagram, but it's just my name, Janel Loughin. It's spelled Loughin.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. It was so fun.
Boom.